Hello and welcome to the Ridiculously Good VA Show with Tracy Daviero. If you are a virtual assistant or want to be one, this is the place to learn the tips and tricks you need to become a ridiculously good VA. I've been a part of the VA industry since 1998, and I'm excited to get to know you and help you build an amazing business. Let's go. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the podcast that teaches you how to be a ridiculously good virtual assistant. Today we're going to talk about sales conversations. You may remember last week we talked about how to answer what it is that you do, and being able to do that well is going to lead to more sales conversations. So if you didn't listen to that episode, make sure that you go back and do. Today's quote is from Roy Bartell, and it goes like this. Most people think selling is the same as talking, but the most effective salespeople know that listening is the most important part of their job. This is it. This is how you get clients. I'm super excited to share today's episode with you. So let's go. Getting clients. It is far and away the biggest topic the VAs come to me for advice about. You know it, you can see it yourself as the most common topic in VA groups too. I used to get clients wrong. For a long time, I tried to find a shortcut to getting clients. There must be one, right? We all think there must be one. And I also used to use a lot of very silly ways of trying to get clients. I worked very hard at it. Ways that I thought were so smart, like job forums, classified ads, bulletin boards, cold calling, and yes, even the yellow pages back in my day. Now, don't get all worked up if these are the ways that you are currently trying to find clients. I got clients in all of those ways, but it was really very hard. And you might think that when you hear me saying that you need to have daily business conversations with people, that is hard. And it might be to start, but I guarantee you that it will yield you more clients than the other way. You're not going to have to work as hard. And that is definitely my promise to you. How come I know this? Because I've done both, and I can tell you that networking is just more successful. And because I've taught VAs just like you to network, and they get clients too. It takes some work, some decisions, and some support, but you can do it. The main thing you want to do is you want to get people on a sales conversation. You might call it a discovery call, but it's in place to make a sale. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. Getting the client. It's not enough to get them on the phone or Zoom, whatever you use for your discovery sessions. You want to get that client. And that starts with listening, just like Roy says. So many VAs do not listen. They think the sales conversation is there to make a pitch. Absolutely not. You have to stop thinking about pitching. You have to stop pitching altogether. If I can give you one piece of advice to get clients, that's it. Stop pitching to them. A sales pitch, I looked it up, is in place. It's to persuade someone to buy something. You plan a presentation, you present it, and then you attempt to close a sale. You handle objections and all that kind of thing, but you consistently are trying to pressure that person into making the purchase. And although on a sales conversation, we obviously would like it to end up with a client signing with us, that is not your key goal. What we need the goal to be, or what the goal is to see whether we can help them. And that is completely all. If we can't, we move along to somebody else. We don't have to persuade them to do anything at all. We connect with them, we listen to their needs, we determine if we're a good fit, service-wise, personality-wise, and budget-wise. And if we are, bravo, we have a new client. If not, it's totally okay. Detaching yourself from the outcome of any sales conversation is one of the best pieces of advice I can actually give you. It's one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I have ever been given. I used to always worry about getting sales conversations all the time because I was so nervous to hear no. I thought if I got a no, I had failed. And absolutely nothing could be farther from the truth. Now, yes, you should want to qualify your people before you get on a phone call with them. You don't want tire kickers and inquiries to fill up your day. When you get a qualified prospect on the phone, everything gets easier. And when you're networking with the right people, you're going to get the right people jumping on those calls with you. You can prepare all the stuff you want to say, but if you don't treat it like a conversation, you're already shooting yourself in the foot. Nobody wants to be sold to. Think about yourself. You definitely don't either. And even if they're shopping for something. I remember going up the escalator in one of our local Sears stores, our big department stores here. And at the top of the stairs was the electronics department and the toy department. Of course, we would go up with our parents. And when the escalator reached the top, my dad would always say, "Here come the vultures," because the guys in suits would be standing right there facing the escalator, staring right at you, ready to sell you something. It's just an icky, icky feeling. Sales gets a bad rap because people think they need to make a sale. If I were going in and I was looking for a couch or a VCR at the time or a television or, anything like that, then I would be heading to the electronics section. But having four guys in suits stare me down and try to get my business was really, really unnerving. And so sales feels icky to us, but it doesn't need to, especially in a service business. You need to stop worrying about the sale and concentrate on the conversation itself. Who is this person who's on the call with you? What is their business? What's it all about? What do they do? Who do they help? Why is it so important to them? What do they have a problem with or multiple problems? What's the most pressing problem for them? What is the thing that's really, really bugging them? What do they want help with? Sometimes they don't even know and they need to ask questions about what they can potentially get help with because they don't realize it. And certainly, what is their budget? Budget is such an important part of your sales conversation. I would say it's one of the most important things because the client is on the phone with you. They have money, they have a certain amount of money in their head, and they want to be able to spend that money and they want to be able to get something in return for it. That's really the crux of the whole conversation. We'll talk about that also in a moment. Listen to or ask them questions that are related to the services that you offer or in general about their business, something that is relevant to what, the services that you offer. And then let them talk. Listen to what they say. Listen to how they say it. And keep the conversation on target, but let them do most of the talking. Under no circumstances should you be offering a detailed solution, no screen sharing or anything like that. They will get those details or that detailed attention when they work with you and pay you. This is one thing that is a real problem for virtual assistants that I have worked with. The failed sales conversation is one where you give them the solution to their problem for free. A failed sales conversation is not the one when somebody says no, believe it or not. You need to be really clear that the help that you give them is based on your expertise. You showcase your expertise in the call, but the actual work gets done whenever you are getting paid. What you need to focus on in the sales conversation is specifically that. What do they need and whether you can help them? You want to showcase your value by asking thoughtful and professional questions and then letting them know that's exactly what you do to help your clients. Positioning yourself as an expert is going to go a long way in you being a professional virtual assistant. The client will hear your confidence in your voice, and they need to feel confident so that they're spending their money with you. They will feel that it's worth it. That's the only thing that will make that buying decision for them if they feel confident that you are the one who can help them. Never try to convince anybody of anything. You tell them you can see they need someone to help them with XYZ and that you could be that person if they want, but it's okay if they don't choose you. This tactic actually works. And I'll just repeat that for you. You say to them, I can see that you need someone to help you with XYZ. I can definitely do that, but that's okay if you feel like you want to go with someone else. When you don't worry about them saying yes, when you let them know I can help you, but it's okay if you're not sure that I can help you yet. That goes really, really miles. When people realize that you are absolutely not trying to sell them, they get a lot more trusting of you. So here's my long list of things that you need to do to get the client every time on your sales conversations. And luckily, they're all really easy to do, but sadly, not really done all the time. Number one is use a checklist. Without question, this is going to be your greatest tool. It will help you stay on track. It will help you collect all of the information that you need to make your decision, and it will make sure that you don't miss anything that you want to ask the client. When I operate without a checklist, I miss something, and you will too. And so what you want to be able to do is have a master checklist. Of course, you can veer a little bit from it, but have a master checklist. And then after you have done a sales conversation with a client, if somebody asks you something new, or if there was some kind of a, issue that you came upon that you haven't before, you can update that so that you're always getting better at what it is that you're doing. You want to keep on time. Number two, sales conversations should be short. I book mine for 15 minutes, and I know that probably sounds short to you. You might need 30, but that's okay. But do not go longer than that. There's absolutely nothing that you need to talk about with a client that should take more than 30 minutes. When you keep things on target, you ask those really pointed questions, there's nothing that should take longer. If you're doing sales conversations longer than that, I would ask you, what are you doing on them? I'm guessing that you're probably giving the client the solutions to their problems. You need to stop doing that because you're losing a sale. Number three, you need to keep on topic. Asking questions is really important to keep the topic of conversation front and center. And don't be afraid if somebody's getting wordy or chatty to say to the client, I'm going to stop you right here for a minute. I want to make sure I'm understanding you correctly. And then paraphrase what they're saying to bring the topic back to where you need it. That might take a little bit of practice and a little bit of finesse, but it's very, very effective to get the client back to talking about what it is that you need to talk about. If they're giving you, such a long story. Okay, understand this, but we need to move forward, and they need to understand that, they're not taking up all of your time for no reason. You are both there for a reason. Can we make this fit? If we can, let's move forward. And the moving forward is the next part. Ask pointed questions. Like I said earlier, create the questions you need the answers to, the ones that are going to lead directly to you saying, that's exactly how I help my clients. That's why your checklist is so important, because you can put those questions right on it so that you don't forget how to ask them, and so that you can make sure that you do ask them. Definitely assure them that you can help them. Remind them at every stage of the call that you can help them. And if you can't help them, be sure to clarify those parts too. The client can make an informed decision if they know that you can help them with this, but not with this. And if that you can help them with their most pressing issues, then there's a sale in the making. This is the big one. No screen sharing or solving issues right now. That's not what the consultation is for. You don't give free work. There's no need to. There's absolutely no need to. You can give some suggestions and some advice, but you make sure that you are not solving their current issue right now. That's what they need to pay you for. If you're doing this, you are probably losing more clients than you need to. They're not going to see value in what you charge if you provide it for free on a consult. And if they have an issue with something like MailChimp, ask them to describe it, but say no if they ask you to screen share or offer to screen share. And you just tell them, that's not what this call is for. That's how I work with my clients. But you can tell them to describe the problem so that you can let them know if you can help them or not. And you can showcase your expertise in that way. Again, that might take a little finesse, but it's really important to be very clear on that. If they do ask you, what do you charge? Tell them you need to know what they need first, and then you can talk about budget. I always used to say to people, they would say, I need a VA. How much do you charge? That would be the first question out of, the conversation that we were having. And I would say to them, $1 million. And they would laugh. It's a bit of an icebreaker, but I would say to them, I don't actually know what you need yet, so I can't tell you a price until I know what it is you need, and even if I can help you. So how about let's talk about what you need first, and we'll talk about your budget, and we will then be able to, cover the money issue at that point. And if you say to them, we'll talk about what you need first and then budget, the word budget is so important. You use it all the time through your conversation because it puts the money topic squarely into the client's lap because it is their budget. It's not your rate that would be a challenge. If there's something, if they're not sure if they can afford you, or if you're not sure if they're viable enough as a client, if they can afford you, it's all about their budget. It does not look poorly on you, it's on them. And not to say that we want our clients to look poorly, but they need to understand that these are my services, this is what they cost. How much can you pay? How much is your budget? You want to be able to practice your sales conversation. Like anything, practice makes perfect. But I have to say, don't practice with a colleague. Practice with real live potential clients. The more of these calls you do, the better you will get at them. Nothing is going to make you better than doing it live with a real person. And that might mean that you get a few no's, and that's okay too. And you might be embarrassed if you mess something up, and that's okay too. You're going to move through it because with the tools of your little checklist and your questions and all those things, you're going to be able to do better the next time. You need to know your services inside and out. You need to know your rates inside and out. And you need to be able to estimate the work that the client can get for their budget right on that call. And like I tell you guys, I always had a cheat board right beside me with all of my services, all of the rates, and I could easily put together an estimated package right there on the call with the client. And my business coach taught me that, and it was very valuable because if you can't do that, then it takes away from sort of your professionalism and your confidence. If you have to defer and say, well, I'll write something up for you and I will let you know. You need to make sure that you have those answers already and that you can give the client an estimate while you're on the call. And then you need to ask for the sale at the end or in the middle or the beginning, anywhere in the call, maybe even more than one time. How does that sound? I can't tell you how many sales I lost because I was too nervous to say, how does that sound? I was too nervous to ask for the sale. I did sheepishly send a proposal later on, and then sometimes I didn't even follow up with the client. And I'm sure that you have probably done the same thing. It's really important to just end as easily as you can by just saying something like, how does that sound? Does that sound what you were thinking? What would how would you like to proceed? Very, very easy to do that. And being able to quote that rate right away is an excellent time to say, how does that sound? If somebody has a budget that is lower than what your rate is, then you say to them, I can do these things for this amount of money, right? That's all very important as well. You have to know that if you're a good fit, it's your job to make sure the client sees that and gets excited about working with you right on that sales conversation. No more, no less. That's all you have to do. You don't have to convince anyone or educate anyone or push anyone or persuade anyone to do anything. They may be hesitant to spend their money, but if you show them the value, they're going to make the right decision for them. And if they aren't ready, they simply aren't ready. If you know that you've done all you can do to show your value, then you've done your job. And every time you do a sales conversation, you are going to get better at it. The key is to do more of them and often. Don't do one or two a month, do one or two a week, and you will definitely get better at them. And finally, don't focus on selling. I know I've said it already, but I'm saying it again. Focus on helping, focus on fit, and focus on budget. Like I said earlier, if a client's budget is too low for what you're talking about, work with them on it. Work within their budget, but don't do everything they need. Don't make them a deal because they say they can't afford something. If Tell them, here are the things we can do for that budget. If they will pick the most important things and fit them in if they think that you are the person who can help them. You want to answer all of their questions to the absolute best of your ability. If you don't know something, be honest. People love honesty. Say, oh, I haven't actually thought of that before. Let me look into that and I'll get back to you. But let's talk about the rest of this. Handle everything that you can until you have a question that, something that maybe you need to look up. It's totally okay to not have it all perfect, but handle everything else that you don't have to look up. Handle everything else that you know already. You need to master your sales conversations and be confident and be professional. And do not worry about turning down clients that you know are not going to be a good fit for you, budget wise, personality wise or service wise. You're going to regret it if you say yes to somebody that you kind of knew was not going to be a good fit for you. And above all, don't let the outcome of a call affect you if you did everything right. Even if you didn't do everything right, you just do better the next time. But don't let it get you down. It's not a no. The clients are just ready when they're ready. And sometimes a no is just a no for now. You will be able to tell the difference very soon. Again, the more calls you do, the more experience you'll have, and the better you can make the judgment yourself. In every case, you want to detach yourself from the outcome of the call, but definitely make sure that you followed your checklist and covered all of your bases first. This is exactly what I help VAs do. As a VA coach and trainer, I help you to find the things that you can talk to your clients about, to find those words, to build those checklists, and to help you find the people that you should be working with. And when we work together, I promise you I'll help you reach out to those people so that you can get clients. It's much easier than you think. I'll help you get clarity around all of it, and I will cheer you on as you walk through the steps to get it done. I've helped hundreds of VAs through their challenges, and I've got them on the way to growing their business and the lifestyle that they dream of. And I would love to do the same thing for you. You can work with me privately, or you can join the Virtual Circle, my mastermind group for virtual assistants. You can check it out at yourvamentor.tvc, as in the virtual circle. I bet it's exactly what you need to start running the VA business that you dreamed of. Feel free to reach out to me if you are interested in starting your journey today. That's all I've got for you this week. I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of the Ridiculously Good VA Show. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. For more great resources for your VA business, visit my website at yourvamentor.com. I'll see you back here next time.